Love to hear it. My name is Rose. I'll be your host for this afternoon. I'm going to go over some housekeeping rules and then we'll get started. First off first, please no flash photography. Please silence your cell phones. Please be mindful of either camera in this area. When it comes time to our fan questions, please limit yourself to just one. When it is time for the fan questions, there's a microphone right here in the front. Please walk slowly and safely. And that's about it. Now that all the housekeeping is out of the way, are you guys ready to say hi to our guests? Woo! The voice of Yusuke, please welcome Justin Cook.
Hello everybody, how are you? Happy Sunday. I just heard myself yelling on the monitors.
Did you?
I did. I was talking about the concrete walls between my emotions or something. I just killed cool bar.
Love that for us. Justin, welcome to Milwaukee.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What's the next line? Shamil. Shamazel. Mazel Tov Incorporated.
Yeah. Just have you been to Milwaukee before? No? First time, me too.
I went out and found the bronze fawns last night.
Yes, I saw it about 2 days ago. What'd you think?
Oh, it's short.
It is short. Yeah, Henry Winkler is a little short. But he's so nice. Oh my
I
gosh.
finished it and went, oh. It's a little shorter than we anticipated.
That's all right. You guys have to give us some food recommendations because it's both our first times. I'm going to ask a few questions, Justin, and then we'll open it to our fans. But first thing, Justin, I know you're an avid vinyl record collector.
I am.
Do you own a favorite anime soundtrack on vinyl, perchance?
Ooh, that's a fun question. I recently, for Father's Day, just received the Cowboy Bebop box set.
Nice.
So that, yes, that's what I did when I got it. So I've listened to that quite a few times through. So yeah, I love Bebop. That's probably my favorite.
That's a good present. Love it. If any anime could have a vinyl right now, which one would you love to see come to life?
Honestly, I'd really love to see, they have a symphonic soundtrack for the Acura soundtrack, but I'd love to see the original soundtrack released, or honestly, Yuyuhakusho. I think there's actually a 7-single box set for Yuyuhakusho, but I'd love to get the background music. I think that would be fun. Sorry, my head.
All right. Justin, you are such a talented voice actor. You're a producer, you're an ADR director, you've been in the business for thankfully a very long time. It's a fun story of how you became the voice of Yusuke. So with that said, for those who don't know, would you mind walking us through that story?
Sure, we were, I was assigned to be the voice director for this series, and we were going through and casting all the characters. I could not find a Yusuke, no one could. The producer at Funimation asked if I would get into the booth, which I was excited to do that, but I was trying not to show it, kind of thing. So I did the audition, but then that meant that I couldn't participate in casting the show anymore. So I had to step out of that. The producers kind of met in a, sequestered little situation room somewhere. Funimation offices at the time. Anyway, Barry comes to me after the meeting and says, hey, we'd like for you to do the voice for Yusuke, of which I was like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. And then I got home and I ran around the block like 7 times, so excited for this thing, because I had really fallen in love with the show. I had binged it over a weekend. I really fell head over heels in all of these things. So anyway, super excited.
Love it. Love to hear it. Justin, going back to you producing and directing, your resume is quite extensive and beyond impressive. I know picking your favorite show is like picking a favorite child, but with that said, could you pick at least just 3 shows for now that you are most passionate about and the most proud of that you've worked on?
I can pick 3 shows that I can remember the names of that are fun, and not necessarily the big ones that everybody knows. But I have such a hard time with the favorites, because every time I think I have a favorite, I'll see a new favorite. Oh, that's not my favorite. What do I do with my old favorite? So, Beck Mongolian Shop Squad is an old show. It's a 26-episode series about a rock band. What's fun about that one is we got to dub all the rock songs. So that was pretty fun. So that one I highly suggest. A newer show is called ID Invaded. It's a 13-episode kind of murder mystery, crime drama-ish, sci-fi kind of thing. And so that's a lot of fun. And yeah, we're gonna get 2 today.
All right, we'll leave it there. Guys, I have one more question for Justin, but you're more than welcome, like I said earlier, to walk up to this mic right here, slowly and safely, of course, and ask Justin your questions. All right, so don't be shy. No question is a bad question, we promise. So, Justin, Toonami was so iconic in its time, and it really introduced young Americans to anime culture. What makes Yuyuhakusho withstand the test of time and entertainment?
I have absolutely no idea, but I am so happy that it has, right? I mean, for me, I can just identify all of the emotional touchstones and through lines to the story. That's what keeps me coming back to it every day and watching it again and checking out another thing. I love that part of it. But whether that's what's kept it, I don't know. Yeah, that's hard. I don't know.
We'll call it luck and talent for right now.
You can call it that.
Sure, why not? Hey, Frank, go ahead and step right up to the mic and ask your question.
Hello.
Hi.
So between your roles as actor, producer, director, how are all those different and what type of role do you prefer?
Ooh. The role I prefer is whichever one I'm in at the moment. That's truly how I everything's happening exactly the way it's supposed to be happening kind of philosophy that I've got. But they are definitely different hats. The actor hat is the actor hat is the most responsibility-free hat. So there is that as a big benefit. And you just get to play, right? But you're also listening for a voice director to kind of lead you through. And the most dangerous thing you can do as an actor is pretend or think you know what's happening. So don't do that and just leave yourself as kind of clay in the director's hand. And that job is awesome. That's how that is. The producer's fun. I was once asked a question if I would like to be the guy who made the rules or the guy who had to follow the rules. And that is the benefit of being a producer, because you get to make up the rules. Granted, they gotta be fair and all these kinds of things. I can handle that. But I like the idea of not necessarily having a direct boss. So that part I like. I've always looked at the role of being a producer as clearing the way for creativity, right? So a producer's job is to try to make the voice director's job as easy as it possibly can be, so that they can focus on stories and through lines and reads from the actors and pulling out a great emotional performance. And so that takes us to the voice director job. So there's a lot of fun that happens there too. It's more of an obsessive job though, right? Because you kind of have to really dive into the show. You not only have to figure out what each of the lines need to be and how they need to be said, but why are they being said? A great line that I heard about music once is, it's not enough to know the notes to play, but why you're playing them. So, there you go. You're welcome.
Great question. Hello, go ahead and step right up to the microphone. You can move it.
Oh, I think there you go.
You're good.
All right, so the questions that I've been thinking about, from meeting you yesterday to today, I had to think about one. You've had, how do I put this? Between saying goodbye to, in the Yusuke series, to Genkai, and then emotional thing, and then you moved to Sensu Terra. What's the difference in emotion between saying goodbye to Genkai, knowing who he was, and then Yusuke saying goodbye to his friends, knowing what's going to happen with the Sensu Terra, if you will, how he had to do what he had to do. I don't know, ruin it for anyone who hasn't seen it, you know what I'm saying?
I hear you, but I mean, I think the reality is that for me, as the actor, I'm just experiencing it with Yusuke as he's experiencing it, right? And I don't think Yusuke is thinking about, it was hard to say goodbye in this instance, and is it going to be hard to say goodbye in that instance? Honestly, I really do feel like Yusuke's kind of living in the moment, right? I don't think he thinks about a lot of things. So yeah, I think I don't know that he would have any kind of comparison, at all. I don't think that he sits on his losses, So like there's, that scene you guys just watched, or some of you just watched, where Kuwabara, it's apparent that he may be dead, and so Yusuke's freaking out. That's the only time he ever thinks about it, right? It's like when you get in trouble for something, and then at that point you go, why did I do that? I'm so stupid. That's the only time he ever thinks about it.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
I like that. Yusuke thinks as a consequence.
Thank you for your question. So, I'm going to step right up to that mic. Perfect.
Okay, I always felt like Yuyuhakusho was like Yusuke is a really relatable character because I feel like a lot of people have times where they don't think when they just jump right in, charge headlong like he always does. My question to you is, out of all the episodes of Yuyuhakusho, what did you relate to most?
Oh, I don't know. Ultimately, I'm looking in any role that I play. I'm looking for every single moment what is something relatable, right? Because to me, the human tissue, right, the messy stuff, the emotional stuff comes from that. And so, I mean, but I can be pulling that from anywhere, right? I mean, Coolbar's death. I haven't lost Coolbar. I'm sad it's fine, right? But my best friends are fine, right? They haven't actually lost that, but I've lost other things, right? I've lost people, relatives, whatnot. So those are the pieces that I'm drawing off of, but it's very on purpose, right? I'm not like if I watch a movie and I'm just enjoying it, then I can become related to whatever it is I'm watching because the content's reminding me of something. But in the role of an actor, it's actually my job to make sure I have done that. Because if I don't, then it doesn't feel as real to you when you're watching it. So there you go.
Thank you. So,
For all of the big emotion scenes in Yuyuhakusho, what would you say was the most challenging for you to either bring out or like feel in a performance?
You know, I don't really know. I was really hard on myself as directing myself in this role. So we would attack things 18, 19, 20 times sometimes, obsessively. Not smartly, by the way. I don't suggest this. I'm not saying this is what you should do, right? No, I mean, it was, so I would always run myself over the hot grill, as it were, if I, because is that hitting home? Did that hit the way that I wanted it to hit? That kind of thing. So the whole thing, every line was sometimes, I was miserable to myself. Thank you for asking though, man.
Out of all the characters that you voice acted, which one has been your favorite?
Gotcha. You ever seen the movie Inside Out?
Yeah.
It's kind of what the inside of my head looks like, except it's all these characters that I play, right? So they're kind of my kids, right? And I've just mentioned it, I'm looking on every single line, how do I make this character relatable? How do I make them real? How do I make them feel real, right? He's a big pink, whoa, popped pea. He's a big pink monster. How do I make that real? You know? A Saiyan with incredible hair and never misses leg day. How do I make him real? I don't know, and so that's where it is. It's hard after I've had that level of a relationship with each one of those characters. They truly are like family, right? So here's the reality. You can pick a favorite kid, but you don't say that out loud. Thank you for asking. You're welcome. This is Justin Cook and the art of darting a question.
yes. I love it. Hello, Fred.
Hello. What did you think of the live-action Netflix Yuyuhakusho?
I haven't actually seen it yet, man. I will say this. Anything that energizes a franchise to get a budget put behind it and to get more content put out for it speaks so much, not just for the content itself, but for the fan base. So I'll say right now, what I think of the live-action Netflix is that the Yu Yu Hakusho fan base is absolutely incredible. Thank you. Did it again.
Did it again.
Yep.
Love it. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Justin? I'm good. So my question is, I'm sure, I don't know how many times you might have seen Yuyuhakusho over and over again, but as someone who appreciates the show, out of the four major arcs being the Spirit Detective Saga, the Dark Tournament, the Chapter Black, and the Three Kings Saga, what is your favorite and why?
I don't know that I have a favorite, but I really do like the way that the dialogue plays with each other in the Chapter Black Saga. Some of the strategy scenes and whatnot, where there would be 8, 9 characters all kind of having one conversation. I love the way that words can feel like a river. And, if they're done correctly, it really feels like they're all tied together, and I really love that. But with that being said, man, okay, so like right now I'm thinking, how hilarious when Yusuke's gonna pull swamp gunk out of his ears, and that's the only reason he beat Rando, right? Fighting against Jerry, who was the leader of the St. Beast, that was my high school best friend, so that was awesome. So there's the reasons why I think Spirit Detective is probably one of the best arcs. But then with that being said, there's a 30-some-odd Dark Tournament arc, right? You get all this backstory of the gambling going on and the team owners and all of that kind of stuff, which I love. Tagoro's intimidation game and the occasional. You starting to get my drift? I can't pick a favorite. Yomi and the Three Kings at the end. Yusuke said on the thing, yelling, "Omi, you," and not the word we're gonna say on Sunday morning, but all that kind of fun stuff. How can you pick a favorite? This whole thing is like it's like a journey.
We're 3 for 3.
And it's kind of weird to say which part of this journey did you like the most, right? Getting home's awesome. Leaving for it, exciting. Being on it, that's the learning piece, right? So what's your favorite? I don't know, man. I like the whole song.
Do you have a favorite as a fan?
I could not pick for the life of me either. I guess we're the same like that.
We're the same.
We're for
We're like a show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. You're winning the hair day, by the way.
Yeah.
Love it.
Good hair. Speaking of good hair, hi, Gia.
It's been a while, right?
Indeed. You are one bad man.
Appreciate that. So my question to you is, playing Yusuke at such a young age, and just that awesome, badass personality, did that reflect in your own personal life at all?
No, man, I'm a badass. What are you talking
He is a
about?
badass. I can confirm. Trust me, he is a
You walk
badass.
right into that one. You know what? You get cast, and then you just, again, you do your very best to try to present the character as realistically as you can as you can project them. I'm glad that it did that. That's what I was aiming for,
Yeah, you did a great job, man.
Man, you have my heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, friend. Appreciate you. Guys, again, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to come up. Again, don't be shy. We've got 15 minutes left. If not, if you're a little shy, you want to ask at Justin's table, that's okay too. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So another question, so when you were directing the show, I'm always curious, how much knowledge do you get out of the source material? How do you do the research? And how important is it for the actor to know about this material?
There's going to be different opinions on this, right? But my point of view is obsessively, like crazy, total crazy style, research-wise, right? About how, as a director, that's how I would approach it. I don't always think the actor needs to know. That's just my personal opinion, and there's going to be a lot of actors and directors that would disagree with that. But if the director can lead me into the emotion they want, I don't really care how they get me there. Does that make sense? So like if they get me there through something that's really happening in my life, and that's the emotion that they're able to bring out. Here's a great example. During the Tagoro fight, I wasn't thinking about fighting Damien Clark, or Tagoro. I was going through a rough patch romantically in my life, and I was using a lot of that frustration and that, we'll call it anger, confusion, to help craft those particular scenes. That was the thing that was going on in my life at the time. But it didn't necessarily have to come from the knowledge of the material. Now, as a director, in my opinion, you gotta know the in and out of everything. Why is someone saying this line? Why did they choose those words? What was the emotion behind that? All those pieces. And that way, when you're listening to the playback, what's finished? Is it hitting all of those through lines? Is it hitting all of those emotional notes? And are they being hit in the right areas? So I think that's just me, though. Everybody's different. Yeah, thank you.
So I actually have two questions. One, it was in your career, has there ever been a character you went in to try to play for, didn't get it, and have you ever been watching an anime like, oh man, I could have crushed that character if I auditioned for it?
Yeah, no, I don't look at anything that way. I don't, and for probably mental health reasons, I don't, right? So first, I've never auditioned for a character that I have preset in my head and I go, oh, I have to get this. I could not handle the rejection, simply put. So I voice out there. If somebody, a voice director is like, oh, I hear that voice when I'm looking at that character, now I invest, right? But only after I get the job, right? And so when watching a show, like watching one that's already in English.
No, in Japanese.
In Japanese?
You're like, oh, I would like to put my spin on that.
No. If I was to ever do it, I would probably immediately kind of chastise myself a little bit and kind of, you know, I got in trouble a little bit there. I don't tend to do that. I like in movies or in other media, I'll watch things and be like, oh, that's a really cool character. But that's about as close to that as I ever really do.
Fair enough, thank you.
Yeah, man.
So we talked about Yusuke being a very relatable character, embodying like positive qualities, like just being able to be present and tackling things head on without any consequences. But as a voice actor, were there any moments where maybe you were reading a script or doing voice acting where you felt he wasn't making a good choice?
Yeah, all the time. Characters aren't fun if they always making the right choice, right? Even a white hat cowboy type character, right, that's always fighting for good and this kind of thing, they're entertaining to watch if they become human, right? And human is making mistakes and making a wrong choice and then dealing with the fallout or the consequence of that. But yeah, no, Yusuke is king of bad decision making for sure. Don't use him as the guidepost.
Thank you.
I love how supportive you guys are clapping after every question. It's so sweet. Hi, James.
Hello. So supposedly Tagashi is putting out new Hunter x Hunter chapters. Hunter x Hunter never truly had an ending. There's a lot of gripes about how Yu was finished. If you could write a new chapter for Yu or explore any part of that universe, what would you do?
Oh, I do have my own little fan fiction. I like the idea of thinking that after the close, so there's a few OVAs that came out. There was one that was like it took all the openings and closings and put little story parts, like 3-minute little things, interstitials between each one. One of those is Yusuke working at Keiko's dad's sushi restaurant, or ramen restaurant. And he's testing apparently out a new recipe or whatever with Keiko, which he's impressed that it's actually kind of starting to taste good. So I like the idea, my fan fiction is that they get married, right? And they have a kid, a little girl, is what my fan fiction says. And he now is in the role of Genkai, training his daughter to be the new spirit detective. I think that would be really cool. But, you know, no budget. Outside of you, no one's asking me.
Not yet. Hello. You guys are so sweet. I love it. Go ahead.
What was your most memorable arc in Yuyuhakusho? And so that says Yuyuhakusho. What is the thing that you remember most?
I gotcha. Honestly, the beginning of working on it, so we haven't actually really started on anything yet, so there's not necessarily a storyline arc. We recorded episode 8, it felt like 9 times, taking different approaches to that particular episode, so it's probably that he ate the green skin with all the eyes everywhere. That's probably what I remember. Yeah, man.
Hello. I was just curious, do you ever have any funny interactions in public, like people recognize your voice but maybe not know who you are, like say you call an internet provider or Starbucks and it's like...
Yeah, when I got my security system installed at my house, it turned out he asked if I was, hey, you sound just like this anime character. Do you ever watch anime? And it's like, I've seen a little. So that was kind of funny. So yeah, it's happened occasionally. It's always, I have a lot of this stuff hanging up in my garage, so anytime there's, not every time, but any, electricians and whatnot have come out, and I'm like, you really, where'd you meet all these people? So that's fun to get into.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Guys, do we have any other fan questions? No. Oh, there we go. Oh, thanks, guys.
Hello again. This is a bit of a long shot, but obviously, sorry, my voice sucked.
You're fine.
Yu Yu Hakusho is about fighting. So, do you like fighting?
No, I'll avoid a fight at all costs. I try to be funny. I learned a long time ago, I used to listen to stand-up comedy all the time. I still do, actually. I listen to stand-up comedy to go to sleep at night. Anyway, if you go to sleep in a good mood, you'll wake up happy. That's my thought anyway. Anyway, Richard Pryor was the one that always said he's not much of a fighter, and that's how he learned how to get funny, because it's the best way to get out of a fighting situation. So, no, I'm not so much with the fighting.
Great answer.
Hello.
Hey, you're good.
Yeah.
Question. So then, obviously, outside of the series or whatever, even if you want to go in there, was there ever a time, a day, a scene specifically where you did it, you killed it or whatever, you just felt completely drained out of that? Like, oh, that took more out of me than I even thought. I gotta go to bed, I gotta do something, or I gotta cry or something.
It's funny, yeah, it does happen. I mean, I don't have a particular scene. I can though tell you the last time this happened, not to me, but it happened. I was the director in the scenario. We were doing the superhero movie, right? The Dragon Ball Z superhero movie. And I was working with Damien. Now Damien comes in, and you guys has everybody seen this movie or know of it? Yeah? Okay. So there's it's been out for 2 years, so it's getting spoiled for you right now. Cell Max is in it, and we brought Damien Clark to do Cell's voice. Now, Cell Max has no lines. It's just screaming and yelling for 4 hours, right? So this guy comes in, and I'm telling you, inside of 4 hours, nailed out the entire movie. Finished it, basically one sitting, and that was it. Did a couple of pickups the next morning with Sabbath after he had reviewed it, but otherwise nailed it out, 4 hours. It was incredible. And it was truly nothing but guttural, and just screaming at the hall. So we go out to eat afterwards, have a drink, get our dinner, we're talking. I'm telling some story to him as we're eating dinner, and he's just wolfing this food down, not participating in the conversation at all. And he gets to the end of eating, he just looks at me and goes, I don't even know what you're saying anymore. But watching the dial go from like the energy of having done the work, and then just watching it go was like super fast. And I was very empathetic because I have, to your point, absolutely that happens for sure. And it's gonna be surprising. It could be an emotional scene that'll take it out of you. It could be something that's arduous, like what he was doing. It could be anything. But yeah, anything you've thrown yourself emotionally into, you might be surprised at how tiring that can be. It's like getting into a fight with your partner, right? That can be so exhausting. Same kind of thing.
Yeah, right. All right, appreciate the question. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Welcome back.
I'm wondering, how are your relations with some of the other voice actors, especially the main four? How often does the band get back together?
Oh, I love that question.
Getting back together for that OVA that we did
Oh,
recently,
no.
that was fun, and that did feel like getting the band back together. It's Sam and I we power out. We're pretty good friends, kind of like Cobra and Yusuke are. And John I see more often than I get to see Chuck. So I don't know. We're not necessarily all best friends, but we all get along. Yeah. I always thought it was kind of funny back in the day. Sam and I are actually friends. John used to be the script supervisor, so he was always the smart one, kind of like Karama. And Chuck was the only one who was an actor who just come in, right? But just like he's there when you need him, right? So we kind of all were like characters in that regard.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
For something like anime, there's potentially multiple different languages and kind of existing voices that are out there. I mean, you're trying to kind of therefore create your own character, your own voice for a character. How does the existing language that is already there kind of influence your creative process for being on you? Are you consciously trying to be different from that voice? Is there something you want to make it similar but in English? How does that affect things?
Right. Well, it's a lot different today than it was 20 or so years ago, right? Because streaming, right? And now all of these different languages are available to you, right? And so I think it is important that in today's world, right, where all of the languages are available to so much of the audience that there is some consistency between the voice casts. And I'd say most directors tend to kind of use the Japanese vocal performances as like a guide track for what they're looking audibly, right? As far as, instead of trying to approach, hey, let's just clean slate this thing and start 100% over. That doesn't tend to always be the approach anymore. I think it may have been at one time. I don't know if it was as intentional as you're putting it. Accidental is probably more truthful. But again, I think today there's more intention of actually wanting to get a consistency between the vocal palettes as people.
Thanks.
Yeah, man, thank you.
Welcome back.
What do you think of Raz being a one-off character? And when Nick was dominating,
I think that's what they decided to do with him, man. And he's like the Silver Surfer of the Dragon Ball Z universe, right? His job's basically to show up, say Galactus is coming, and get out of the way. That's right. He's a story vehicle, right? He also introduces death to the franchise, which is pretty big. Yeah. He had to sacrifice himself for the greater good of all of Dragon Ball Z, right? He's like Dragon Ball Z Jesus.
Yeah. Messiah.
Dragon Ball Z. Hello, friend. Welcome back.
Did you initially find ordering about voice acting for Japanese cartoons, and what would you say has kept you in the show?
What's kept me here? Hashtag where's the door? I'm just kidding. I mean, I won't. You guys keep me here, quite frankly. You know, I love the effect that you allow these programs to have on you, and therefore, I would imagine there's some level of trust that you have in the industry to keep making stuff good, and that's what I dig, making good stuff. So, you know, I feel like there's a responsibility. I feel that comes from you guys. So that's what keeps me here. And then what was the first part?
What initially drew you to voice acting for Japanese cartoons?
Nothing. It was wanting to perform. It was wanting to entertain. And that's what I wanted to do. However it was that I was going to get to do that was not intentional. It was absolute luck. Super good luck. Not going to say anything negative to it, but I didn't go into this with like, let's do voices for Japanese animation. You know, I was not aware of what it was, but yeah, it was never. This wasn't an intentional path. This was, oh, we're here now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. Everyone sit right up to the mic.
So what's the craziest thing or the goofiest thing that's happened to you at this event so far?
I think wandering around last night, not being able to find the bronze pause, and then finally giving up and taking an Uber to get to it, and then seeing him, and then immediately taking an Uber back. I was just felt a little bit silly, I would say. But no, this has been a great trip. It's been wonderful. I'll tell you one thing, you guys keep the air conditioning outside at a perfect level. I love it.
It's great weather.
Thank
Thank you, friend.
You have anything you can speak to as what you got upcoming? Anything you can like let us know on any upcoming ventures or voice acting characters that you got in the works?
I'm not doing anything voice character-wise right now. I mean, Kid continues to have a few things, and so we'll see where that goes. But you know, and as far as new things coming out, for what it's worth, Crunchyroll is putting out, I think, 23 to 24 new English dubs of new episodes every single week. And so if you're curious, if you ever sit around and go, I wonder what Justin's doing this week, take a look to see what's just launched in English on Crunchyroll, and now you'll know what I've been doing. Thanks, brother.
Thank you for your question. Hello, we'll make you our last question, friend, one of our ACES volunteers. Hi.
Is there a show that you worked on that you liked that you did no voice for?
Yes, absolutely. But Black Lagoon is one of my faves, for sure. I got to work on as a producer for some of that, but that's definitely a fantastic show. I did a very small role in Space Dandy, but I love that show. Terror in Resonance is another really good one that I like. Attack on Titan is a fantastic show. So yeah, there's quite a few. Yeah. Thank
Thank you so much. Justin, thank you again for being here. Guys, thank you so much. You had such great questions. You're a little shy, don't worry, you're more than welcome to see Justin at his booth for some questions, autographs, selfies, and more. But thank you so much for being here. Justin, thank you again for being here at Anime 414. Our next panel is going to be at 2:30, and we'll see you, just kidding, at 1 for My Hero Academia. Thank you guys. Woo! Justin.